We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show.
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about where to start when starting a business and without fear.
What is this?
So it's not just about starting a land business. It's just basically starting a business. I think this confuses a lot of people. For other people, it's just very natural. It's a logical extension to having a W-2 job. But this is really just about that initial twinge, like, I really want to start a business and I don't want to do it with fear. I want to know that it's going to work within reason. And I just need the first few steps to check it out.
Perfect.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Buck wrote, I have a buyer who wants to immediately move his RV onto a property where I'm providing owner financing. The county requires that septic be installed and that he have a temporary use permit for the RV to be legal. The buyer says he'll get the permits. What would you do?
Run the other way.
Wait. Hold on a second.
I would never allow this.
Why not?
There's too much legal issues.
No. Oh, owner financing. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was my thought. I'm like, wait a minute. Where are you going with that? I did take a step back and realize it's owner financing because most of what I do is cash.
You bought a $10,000 property. You posted it for sale on Craigslist for $2,000 down and $250 a month for 15 years. And you calculated on your little calculator that you're going to make about $22,000 on this deal when it's all paid off. And so you're jumping her up and down around the kitchen. Well, the fact is that very material percentage, more than 50% of these properties, when they get sold, you get the down payment, they make 5 payments, then they go dark. You just never hear from them again. And so there's something wrong. This person has a lot of money to do all this RV stuff and these improvements, but they don't want to buy the property outright. There's some issue there.
So that's what you do. Number one, you say, look, owner financing, I'm not comfortable with this. Can't do it. You want to buy it cash from me? Now it's yours and everything's on you. Knock yourself out. That's the first solution. It's right there. And I would even say, look, here's the deal. I know it's 20. Remember, most people do that. When people do, most the people that I've seen, they have a cash price and they have a seller or an owner finance price. And it'll be obvious. You cash out, it's definitely cheaper. So if you don't even have that, offer them a great cash price. Look, I'll give you a 20% discount if you want to just buy the property and then it's yours and then I won't have a say in it. You can do whatever you want.
She's an expert at this. I've heard her on the phone. If you got a listed property for, here's my example. You bought it for 10, just say you sell it for 15 or $18,000 cash. You'd be shocked. And if the property's worth 50, you'd be shocked at how fast whoever they are can come up with their money from their relatives or whatever else, just to get them into the property, all of it.
Right, if they really want it.
As an owner with no liens.
But I agree with Stephen. I mean, the bad news is it's just kind of too much that I could be liable for, and I don't want to do that. I don't want the county calling me saying this guy's out there, he needs to move it, and it's mine. So I'm responsible to get somebody out there to get him to move it. Do I want to get even the legal authorities involved? Heck no. I don't want any of that. And I could, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. That's today's topic, where to start when starting a business and without fear. This is the meat of the show. My number one concern or advice to anyone who's starting a business is to get involved from the beginning in something that you care about or something that you actually truly in your soul enjoy. I truly in my soul enjoy data analysis and manipulation. I always have. I also enjoy land. I grew up around it. I grew up in Michigan. Some of the best memories in my life were going to rural parts of Michigan with my parents and my family and my friends. And I was mesmerized as a tiny little kid about putting up a log cabin and riding a motorcycle around and shooting guns and stuff. It was an amazing part of my childhood, and it stuck with me forever. The data part, I was interested in being an accountant mostly because I wanted to make money from early on. So this just makes a lot of sense to me. I've had I've owned businesses. I've owned manufacturing companies. I've owned, Jill and I recently were owned and unowned a pizza chain. Never had any fun in any of those businesses. Never really cared. Not enough to do a podcast about it. Not enough to get a partner like Jill. And so the real potential of those businesses never worked. So yesterday I talked about the librarian example of getting into the camping business. They don't want to do that. So if you're going into a business purely for the money, there's chances are it's not going to work. If you're going into it because you really are interested in it, and because there's going to be good days and bad days, there's going to be fatal days, and you need to unfatalize those days. And if you're truly interested in the business and believe in it and believe in yourself, then I would take it to the next step. That's my second point. You got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, owning any business is not going to work. You have other work to do on yourself. What do you, I mean,
I was going to write notes. I was going to play a game. When you're done, when you want to give your, I have two things to say. One on the first one, and then I have a story to tell.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, first I was going to say, you're right. As far as you've got to be into it. And I was going to play a quick game with you because I thought that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to name cars. Well, that's one. That's a little hint. I'm going to name a bunch of businesses, and you could say, yes, you'd be into it, or no, you've been into it, to give our example, because it's so flippin' funny. Okay. Number one, classic car sales.
No.
Oh, classic.
And I love classic cars, but I'm so emotional about it. I make bad decisions.
Would you want to be, no, you wouldn't want to be in a business like that?
I had a classic car dealership.
So the answer is yes.
I lost my ass.
Well, the answer is yes, you want to do it. Doesn't mean you're going to do it well. Okay, let me back up. Businesses that you would be passionate about. Yes or no? Not how successful.
All right.
Let's just start with passion, number one. Okay. Classic car sales.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the downside would be yes, you'd never sell any. That's what would happen.
Yep.
Okay. Number two, pizza place.
Nope.
Nail salon.
No.
Massage parlor.
Nope.
Any restaurant.
Nope.
Fishing equipment.
What kind?
Fishing.
Yeah, I could maybe get into that.
Carnival.
No. You're missing the good ones.
Teaching children to weld.
Yes. I would actually love that.
All
And
right.
that's how I see some version of retirement for me.
Oh.
Just teaching young people to do, that they can do stuff.
Growing your own herb garden.
Yeah, I'm not as a business, but I have interest in that personally.
Thank you. See, this is good. Selling anything online.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, those are good companies.
How to set up a studio.
Nope. No.
That's awesome. Relationship advice.
Nope. You're supposed to be good at something
This is
before you
funny.
teach it.
I was going to say, some of these things you're good at, you just don't want anything to do with them. That's what's so funny. How about owning a racehorse?
No. No.
Gambling.
Yeah. No, I don't want any part of that.
Okay, I'm done. That was fun.
I love education companies.
Yeah.
I love real estate companies. I love real estate data companies. Anything to do with data, I'm in. I love software as a service models, like NeighborScoop's a software as a service. And I love marketing stuff. If I believe in it, we can market the heck out of anything.
Yep. So that was good. Then I was going to speak to my little thing about fear. When I was years ago learning to fly and I got my private pilot's license, this is just who I am. And I used it in this example too. I study the heck out of something. If I'm worried about something or nervous about something, I go all in. I will put blinders on.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. And
So
I
that's
study.
amazing.
I
You should teach that.
study and read everything I can about it. I have flashcards, not kidding. So this is my private pilot. So I read everything. I was so good at my ground school. And then when it came time
That's
to
an
practice for my
amazing
FAA,
personality trait.
thank you. My big FAA test, I was ready. And this is how I went into it without fear. I spent weeks with different people with flashcards and studying and watching and reading and
'Cause you wanted
practicing
it.
and review. I did. So that's my thing. That's my best advice to get over fear is to really be immersed,
It's an amazing
and
story.
very knowledgeable about it.
I've never heard
So
it before.
here was the end result. It was so great. Of course I'm shaking. This is a big deal. I'm taking my FAA test, and I got to take this guy up. But first, what does he do before that? He's going to sit down and ask you some questions. And you have to show him your flight plan and how did you get all this information? And just the core basic questions. This guy, I'm sure, has a bunch of questions in his head that he just always runs through every person. And we didn't get, I don't know, 5-10 minutes into it. He stopped asking me questions. And he said, I don't need to ask you any. I'm like, well, I thought this was going to take an hour. I thought this initial whatever part of the test before we go fly was going to be like an hour long. I'm all ready for it. He goes, I don't have to ask you. You know your stuff. And it was done.
It's a
And I'm
huge
like,
compliment.
whew. I was like relieved. And he was right. Every single question he asked me, I knew it exactly. I would study the wording to make sure I used the right terminology and I phrased it correctly. He's like, wow. He was kind of blown away. So that's what I want to say about fear. So if you're coming into this and you've got the passion part, you love it. We just did the test. Like, you love it. You're like, you drive around, you drive your family nuts. You're always online looking at property. Like, wow, why is this price this way and this price that way? You're in. Now to take the fear out of it, you just got to get into it, be all in, start playing with data, start following people in their transactions, follow their companies, look at all of their videos, watch their videos, watch our videos, watch what we're buying, watch what we're selling. See if you can anticipate where we're going to do stuff next and see if you're right. See if I watch these, I think I heard them talk about they're buying these things. I'm going to go look them up and see what they bought them for and what they sold them for. Because you know what? You can get all into it. That's how you overcome, or I do anyway, overcome the fear. I'm just pro.
When you're good at owning a business or starting a business, which are two different things, by the way, starting a business and buying one and owning it are completely different. I'm talking about starting a business because that's what Land Academy is. Whether you start Land Academy or an online retailer, or you get a partner and start a small manufacturing company that manufactures one or two parts for something that somebody really needs in your garage, you're going to succeed or you're going to fail. Because the first thing that happens when you start down the path of owning a business is something comes up in your life. This happens to everybody. It happens to Jill and I all the time. For right now, she's looking at her watch because she has to plan for a call that's in 40 minutes, and she's going to start kicking me under the desk here. And that's just the latest example of stuff that goes on. And so if you can't roll with things and say, well, we're out of money twice as fast as I thought, and no one's buying our stuff, all that's going to happen. And if you can't deal with that and get a partner that can deal with that, there's no business that you're going to do well in.
Good advice.
None of them. Not land, not manufacturing, not owning a convenience store. That's just, and you're probably not going to do well in a marriage. That's just, you have to roll with stuff in life. Don't you think?
You had to bring that in there.
Yeah, of course. It's the same thing.
If you're
having a successful relationship and having a successful business are the same. It's the same skill set.
This is actually funny. I don't want to put anybody down and say, like, if you can't do this, you can't do this. No. If you're on your fourth marriage, I'm not sure Land Academy is for you. I'm not going to say that.
Or maybe you need to marry Land Academy.
Maybe
Land
you will be
Academy's-
successful.
Because Land Academy is not going to talk back.
See? Oh, oh my gosh. Land Academy will go, your land business will go and do whatever you ask of it.
Yep.
Unlike your ex-wife. That's hilarious.
I know you're pressed for time.
Okay. Thank you. That was fun. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week. You can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Those are fun episodes.
That was good. Good ending. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we really do appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please check out our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and give us feedback on the shows that you love.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
And inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.
Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week. You can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.